this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order. It is 6:33. All trustees are present except Trustee Bachhorst, Trustee Warren, Trustee Carpenter. Anyone excused?
Trustee Carpenter is excused. I just for sure. Yeah. No.
We're
I'm
not
here.
in the whole.
I'm just waiting for everyone to go past us
Yeah.
and go in the other
Probably
room.
not.
I didn't even see
The
it.
meeting has been posted and noticed according to law.
Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is the Shorewood, what does it say here?
Review of bid 2020 operating.
Okay, that's what we called it. Review of bid 2020 operating plan. Does anyone want to give a brief introduction? Any questions? Hi.
Or,
Sorry.
I can just tee it up real quick, because I know I talked with Rebecca real quick. She was really grateful that Erica and the bid board could accommodate their schedule and their timeline to be here tonight, because originally we had it flip-flop, where they would be here the first meeting in November. But based on some of the standing committee assignments and tasks, she asked Erica if she could move up on her timeline, which Erica graciously accommodated. So I just wanted to thank
Bid board.
you and the bid board for doing that, because that really helped out our timeline a lot, so.
Yeah, we meant to have it, to talk about it in our September meeting, but we were losing a quorum in time. So we had our one October meeting last week to review it and discuss a rate increase. So that's a big chunk of, that's in the operating plan. I mean, not much of the language changed in the operating plan, obviously, just a few of the figures and the names. But for just looking at $2020, we did put in $30,000 for beautification, and we deliberately didn't call it out specifically in the documents that you got. I mean, we have it elsewhere in details. But to seriously look at pole banners, the canvas banners, because what I heard from day one, the incongruity in the district, and maybe have a design competition and not have text, have it be purely design, and to be on a third of the poles, right? Right now, the snowflakes are on 96 out of, I think, over 200 poles, so they're every other pole. And then we also said in that $30,000, when the bid board met, they talked about the snowflakes. They're 4-foot diameter and they're metal frames, and that's the biggest cost of those decorations. So how about we could outsource someone to restring the lights and spray paint the frames and reuse them. So we put another kind of loose number in for that. What does that look like? You know, but there are assumptions with that $30,000. We're hoping that we could partner with the village to get the banners up. They don't have to be seasonal, they're gonna be up year round until they fade and look awful. You know, so that's not an annual thing. And I know that would be up for discussion when we get to that point with the banners. We're looking at that to be right in the beginning of the year to have the numbers and come to you with that. So, right, so that number could be much bigger than the 30,000. With our events for 2020, we did up the expenses, for the feast. It was, very successful, and, we definitely know what we wanna do to make it even more successful for last year. Katie, our marketing coordinator, really negotiated huge discounts for us this year on lighting, sound, and chairs, tables, that who knows if we're gonna get that next year, because, and so we assumed we may not get those, so that's why you're gonna see higher expenses as well, plus there's a rumor that we're gonna add more people to dinner. So that's another area. The bid board also discussed about upping the marketing efforts, and when you do that, you need staff to do that. And so we, the bid consultants, asked if they would consider making us employees of the bid. And because we just literally discussed this last week, I have a call to accountant to put together what does that look like. So we have a very small number in the 2020 budget, making some assumptions with unemployment and the income tax, but I'm no expert, so again, meeting on Wednesday with the accountant, so I'm assuming that number is going to be a little bit larger. So these are reasons I'm giving you to support a rate increase as well, just to why our budget's increasing. Yeah, and then then that would increase our hours too, because we are looking for more hours since we're already working those hours anyway, and to be compensated for what we work for, so, but then, and then put more into marketing. So those are the big picture, items of the budget for 2020. The rate right now is $1.10. As you know, in 1999, it came in at 106. In 2006, it went up to $1.10. And I found old documentation that the ask from the bid at the time was $1.28, but it was $1.10, but I couldn't really find out. I didn't ask the clerk, I don't know if it really makes a difference or why it was what one and then adopted and everybody just says. But last year I took all the bids, I got, the 81 bids and their rates, and it averaged out to $2.33 per thousand for the assessed value for the rates. So our ask is still, I would say, maybe a little average, $1.38. Yeah, so that's a big picture.
Thank you. I have some questions. Does anyone have any questions from the board?
Yeah, so you've increased the proposals to add 40,000 to the management fee category.
Right, let me go to that. Okay. So, what category?
The management fee, which is 48,000, I think, in
Right, it went up to 52.
and then the marketing director goes up 4,000.
Well, when Katie Reagan came on last March, that's where her fee was negotiated, so her contract actually goes through March, and so we felt we should not change that number right now. But we will be talking and evaluating, the board will meet and Katie in December, before the year starts.
So in 19, that was just part of the year?
Right. No, in 19, okay.
She was there the whole year for 19?
No, she came in at March, at the end of March, when we started, and so she negotiated, yeah, if she was to have it, and yeah. It was
So you didn't
32.
pay out the whole $4,000 last year, or this year, 19, right? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Yeah,
we'll be
it
a
is,
little
but
under
it was less
budget.
this year. What FTE are you talking about? So what FTE are you, or
Well,
what FTE are?
Katie is a quarter time, she works
Currently?
3/4 to full time. She's looking for at least a half-time.
What, in this budget, what is she budgeting?
2020,
Yeah.
she is at the same right now, assuming because her evaluation hasn't come up and, again, she hasn't been here a year, so we kept it there.
So she's at 32,000 as a quarter time, and then you're at.
I'm half-time.
So the 32 times 4, would that be a full-time person?
I would not make that assumption, that's equivalent, cause when you're consulting, it's not the same, it's different proportions. There's a higher tax bracket for, it would be times 4 though, I would not assume that.
Okay. Do you have any questions? I have one. So I have two good ones. So the salaries, way before your time on the bid board, I've said this every year of the 6 years that I was there, and then I'll continue to say it, but we did a salary comparison for all of Milwaukee. They have 44 bids. And I talked with the lead for those bids, and most, if not all, the highest that a bid does pay out for salaries is about 1/3 of their budget, their operating budget, in all 44. And then if you look statewide, it's very similar. So it's always bothered me that usually you pay based on your operating budget, not based on, you just have to, this is what we have and this is how much we can do because we collect this much taxes, or this is how much we raise. And our budget's pretty small in Shorewood. I mean, it is only, it's 110 at one point now. If you just look at the assessments, it's like 140. I can't remember what it goes up to. But anyways, 52 plus 34, and if you're looking at fringe benefits, and, I mean, it's gonna go up significantly. That's way higher than 60% of your budget. And so I'm just wondering why we are so off the charts compared to other bids with how much we
I've
pay out
never
for
seen the
salaries.
data on that, and
I have.
yeah, I would like that to see that in that comparison. Is that the UW extension that did it?
Yes, mhm.
Yeah, No, I just can't speak to that percentage. I mean, there has been a pretty routine or continued turnover with the marketing teams or in individuals because, and it always only comes down to the compensation, only.
Not
And
really,
the
I mean,
bid
we got rid
board,
of two of them, so, I mean, we laid them off,
okay, you're right, I should not speak in absolutes.
yeah,
Very
maybe
corrected.
once.
No, but, a couple of them, teams have gone because of the compensation.
But maybe this year, I wasn't on the board for last year's.
Actually, no, it was around negotiations of just not being able to fulfill, not finding that meeting place of compensation and hours and meeting. But I don't think we need to rehash the history of.
Yeah, and
Well,
we all,
So anyways, I just wanted to, I've never gotten an answer to that, and I mean, the data's out there, if you wanna look at it, and I'm saying it for the rest of the bid board members. I appreciate everything the bid does, I loved being on the bid board, I think that there is potential to do, I'm so excited about the beautification. I love the partnership with the village, that's always been, when you're asking to raise taxes or assessments on the small businesses, some of it for salaries, that's the thing that I have a problem with, because I feel for a part-time bid director, which is maybe what we can afford in the Shorewood, 54,000 is a lot. I don't know what you would charge for full-time, but our village manager makes about
I
that.
don't want,
I'm just saying, so it is a lot, for a small bid with an operating budget of like 140. And then I have another question I just had about the assessments was, if you're gonna raise assessments on everyone, I think you need to raise that 5,000 limit or that 5,000 cap on the biggest corporations in our village, because it's not fair to raise I don't believe it's fair to raise assessments on all the small businesses, yet those that are the largest get their assessments capped at 5,000.
Yeah.
So-
we are the highest cap in the state as of twenty
It
eighteen
doesn't
at
matter,
least.
I mean, if you're gonna,
So, I would have to, bid board would have to see how comfortable
Right.
with that ask.
trustee McKay.
Procedurally and authority or jurisdiction, what is, I know that we approve the bid plan, but as far as how they want to, their rate increases and making that decision as a separate board and,
The village has to
Deciding.
approve it.
yeah, we approve it, but, so I guess I hear all, I would say that we are providing advisory, opinions.
I don't think that's true.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is procedurally, where are we going with this?
If there was 4 votes or more to not approve the operating plan, they'd have to go back and review and bring it back.
Okay, and tonight is a review?
Yes,
Mhm.
we have time.
And I do plan on asking to have a bid board meeting, a special meeting, just to talk about the budget. They'll come of this discussion tonight, and they'll come of the meeting with the accountant too, so we can refine these numbers a bit more.
So you're proposing a $224,000 budget, so the staff is 50% of the budget, it's
Well,
not the.
That's, some of it is advertisements, it's the rate that you raise, I'm just talking about the assessments.
Yeah, but they're doing other activities beyond,
They
they
are.
generate a lot of revenue.
14,000 of that from special revenues going into that, so 154,000 would be, the rest of it's in and out.
So it seems like there's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah. I have a question or something to add possibly. I know one of the averages we were looking at was this rate compared to other rates statewide, right, Erica?
Mm-hmm.
And how that was significantly below the
It
state
is.
average. So,
I have no problem with upping the assessment, it's just where it goes to.
yeah, this is not based on anything, just my own thinking and maybe something help. See if they're related, but comparing the averages of the percentage of the staff or whatever of that rate, and we're comparing to all these other bids, which apparently must have a higher average assessment than us. If our average is much lower in our assessment, we're comparing two things about averaging, but we're lower on one, we're higher on the other. Maybe if we had the normal assessment, the
Yeah.
staff rates would be more normal.
Unless you put the assessment towards salary, correct. If you put it towards other things, then your salary percentage goes down.
And you're
And that's
saying,
what I would ask, that's what I'm asking for.
and this is just because I'm a little
Yeah.
confused on this too, you're talking about the percentage that a salary comes in at, but
our
But we're
percentage is
saying
lower
basically,
of
our
overall.
assessment is lower,
Yeah.
so therefore our percentage should perhaps be higher for
Say,
salaries.
say people are
If
paid.
the average salary of, that's
No.
what I don't know, do we know what the average salaries for these positions are, I suppose?
That'd be
Are you
great,
saying-
you can get that information.
Okay.
I
That
know
would
what
answer
you're
the
asking,
question.
and that's, so even if our, whatever your assessment is,
Right.
if you just take what you assess, 140,000, and you compare that to what, how much percent salary takes up, it's gonna be the same no matter what. So if someone assesses more, the salaries they might have a full-time director,
Right.
but regardless, it's still not going above that 30%, 33% of the entire budget. So less of the money is going, more of it's going into public improvements, signage, some people do trash cans, some people do snow removal. I mean, there's other public improvements that bids do, more so than just events. So
Right.
we're a little different, and that's fine. I love all the events that we provide. It's just that that ratio is off.
Okay.
But to your
That might
point,
be
it's
okay.
very important to know the average
Right.
you make,
Right.
because we're living in the same city,
Exactly.
that would have to line up.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to get that data and just kind of graph it all out, so that
Sure. I think
when
it's
it's
readily available.
normalized in a number of different ways, so you can
Yeah,
see,
different
I
ways.
think that'd be great. I had one quick question back to, how many businesses are capped at 5,000 in the
I
village?
think two. It's Metro
It's
Market,
just a couple.
yeah, maybe Walgreens.
Cause I think that's an excellent point,
Harbor
that
Chase.
those that are,
Harbor Chase, yeah.
The top
I
word.
can bring it up if.
that's sort of protecting the largest corporations at the expense of the independents.
Right.
Yeah.
No problem with that. And maybe it is high, the cap is high, but to me, if you're raising taxes, you have to raise them for everyone, just even if it's in proportion to what you're raising for a small business, it could be 1%.